Hey there, so today we're going to be checking out what an e-reader is. So let's begin. So an e-reader is a handheld device that allows you to read digital books, ebooks, magazines, newspapers, or documents. So I have on here documents, I have some magazines, and I have a good amount of digital books on here. And the reading material is downloaded from different stores such as Amazon, Waterstones, Barnes& and Nobles, via their Wi-Fi or 3G connection. It all depends on what books, what sort of company you use, because each company has a different way of downloading books. So this one is the Amazon Kindle, so it runs off of the Kindle store. And you can download books to your computer too, plug it in to the bottom through a USB cable. And some models have a touchscreen. The majority of them now, I think almost all of them do. That includes the Kindle Paperwhite, the regular Kindle, and some of its rivals like the Nook Touch. One of the great draws of an e-reader is the ability to download free samples to see if the book is to your liking before committing to pay. Amazon offers Kindle owners a lending library for free or premium to Prime members of the website. There are a large number of free out-of-copyright classic books available to fill your library. So if you find some classic books that you like, then you'll be able to get them for free at no cost. I have a couple on here. They were well worth the purchase of free and they were good. That too, they were good. Because you gotta realize that the books that come out in the 17th century, like Charles Dickens, Mark Twain, Niccolo Machiavelli, all those people, their copyright has ended, so you can get the books for free. So you're going to be downloading them. You can download them for free. Some places, if you find them charged on some places, there are websites you can go to get free classic books, so that you don't have to pay $1 for the books that you should be getting for free, because they're ripping you off when they do this. Other than that, there are benefits of and features of an e-reader. The most models store at least 1,000 books. So inside of an e-reader, inside of this, you can store over 1,000 books. So you throw this inside your bag, you walk around, you could be reading a book, and it's thin. It's very thin, so you're not losing any space. It's so thin that you put it in there, you take it out, and you're on like the last couple pages of a book. You're not forced to bring two books with you, where one book could be like this big, but you only have like a tiny little portion left, and the other book can be this big. You're not forced for that. You can just order a couple books on here, load them on, and then you're good. And then you're good to go. You're on like the last 5 pages of the book. You finish it. You flip to the next book, and you're good. Instead of having to search through your bag and do all this crazy stuff, get you all crazy. And the screens allow you to read even in bright sunlight without any glare, and I can attest to that because I have done that in the summer. I have used this in the sunlight, and I could read perfectly without any glare. Some models include a built-in backlight. Some of them don't work, but you can buy a case that has a backlight. They have clear text and font and a sharp display. Some models allow you to customize the fonts that you see when you look at the screen. So instead of seeing the standard font, you can make some sort of cartoony fonts, a bunch of different fonts that you can use. There is an adjustable text size, so if you're an older person or you're looking to buy one of these for a grandmother or something, and they love to read books, but they want to be able to get them really easily. So you go into the settings of the Kindle or Nook or whatever, or you go into a book and you can change the font size to be really large, so that instead of having to buy them large print books, all you do is you buy them a regular book, and you can make it large print. So they all have to have this, otherwise no one's going to buy them. A built-in Wi-Fi, some of them even 3G, so you can download books on the go. The battery life lasts at least a month unless you did something to the battery where where you destroyed the battery. But the battery lasts at least a month because of their e-ink screen, which basically once the screen's loaded, the only battery it is using is so minuscule that it'll last you a month. So basically, every time I go like this, that is when the battery is being used. So when it switches to that mode, now the battery isn't being used anymore because all it's doing is bringing up that text right there. All it's doing is bringing up that text. There's no other ink at all on the screen. All it's doing is showing that text, and that's all. So once that ink is loaded into those spots, you're done. No more batteries being used. It's so minuscule that you're not even going to notice. Now, the page turning function so that you feel as if you're reading a real book with turning buttons for left and right-handed readers. Some e-readers, not all of them, the simple Kindle doesn't have turning buttons, but most e-readers have turning buttons so that you feel like you're reading a real book. And it's also easier because then instead of having to press the screen, getting it all dirty, you can just press buttons on the side and it works. So e-readers also, they stay extremely cold unless you leave them in extreme heat. So they stay cold, they don't heat up like laptops, there's nothing inside for them to heat up. It's just basic technology. It doesn't heat up like a phone, because this phone can get warm for some reason. It is warm. They can be categorized or stored as collections, so they can be categorized into categories of like horror, all the genres that you have, or you can put them into collections, like you have collections of books that you want together, like you have a collection of for school, so you add all those to a collection. Let's say there's a book that you need, Fahrenheit 94159, I don't know what the book is called. You have Lord of the Flies, you have The Prince, you have a bunch of books that you need for school, but they don't have for school in the store. You have to make your own little folder category thing for the books. So there's another great feature which I have used is if you're doing a school project, you need a book. You don't want to ruin the book that you have, the standard original book, but you want to be able to make highlights in the book. So what you can do is you can do it where other people have highlights too, so you can you can use online highlights so that you know, like, if someone else chose this, maybe this is a great thing to talk about because it's easy. Maybe it's something you like to talk about and it's already highlighted, or you can highlight your own, select your own text, part of the text, find something you like yourself, and then you're good. But you could just take someone else's or use your own, which I have taken someone else's because it was a key part of the book, and I read that part over again before I did what I needed to do for the book. But other than that, it was easy, great, intuitive. It's sort of like a community. When you download the book, it shows up there. It's a great community to have. And another nice thing is you can plug, depending on what e-reader you have, all of them you can plug your e-reader into the computer. You can load your documents on there. In the booklet it'll tell you, or online people will be able to tell you what each one of the e-readers formats can handle. Or you go and if you have a Kindle, I think it's the only, I don't know if that's the only one, but you can email yourself books. So if you have a book on your computer but you don't want to plug it in to the computer, let's say you don't have a wire to plug into the computer, all you need to do is type in your the email address of the Kindle, which you can find in the settings, and you'll be able to download your book through the cloud. This way it's automatically backed up. You're not going to lose it. And then you can download it whenever you need it. And so on the settings of the book, you can rotate the screen so that if you have like some sort of graph, picture, diagram, map, etc., you can just load your... You can just rotate the screen like you can on a phone, but it'll be on an e-reader, so it'll be a little different because it's only black and white. But it's nicer than on a phone or a computer because with this, you don't have to worry about overheating issues. You're always going to have the battery, so if the battery on any of the device dies, you still have this to show you your presentation, whatever that you need. A nice thing is you're able to read most Kindles. You're able to read web pages. Besides for the Nook Simple Touch, you're able to read web pages. So let's say you want to load up Wikipedia to learn more about an author, to see how he was like, so you know what he's like later on, what he was like while he was writing his books. So you know why he wrote it the way, and you can find it more interesting. If you want to learn about an author to find his books more interesting, you go on to their experimental on the Kindle. You go on to whatever it's called, the web browser, and you can load Wikipedia or a bunch of different other sites too that'll tell you more about the author, what he was like, and then you can also use that to download certain formats onto your Kindle, your Nook, or whatever e-reader you have. You can use it to download the formats from websites to be able to download books straight onto your e-reader. So another nice thing is there is a built-in keyboard on screen to make it easier to search book within a book library or online. Because if there was no built-in keyboard, you would not be able to navigate at all. They need the keyboard. It pops up only when you need it on the newer models. Unlike the old Touch with keyboard where it had a keyboard displayed right on the bottom of it as a physical keyboard. But that's just a different story. And you can add your own annotations where if you click on it, you can have it redirect you to like the bottom of like where on the bottom of the page it has like an A right next to the word, and on the bottom of the page it shows what the definition is. Maybe you just want it to show you the definition each time you pass by it. Each time you go back to read it, you can click it. Or maybe what you did is you found something out about right in the last paragraph. So what you did was you highlighted that one. You highlighted a certain part of the book where it would go. You highlighted, like, let's say there were two paragraphs you had. The first paragraph had information about the guy, but the second paragraph was the one you highlighted. So what you did was you found the guy's name in the second paragraph, you add an annotation, and you explain the guy in like 4 or 5 words, paraphrasing the paragraph beforehand, so that you're able to know more about this guy. That happened to go back into in the book before. You can just go right off of hand. And another nice thing is an automatic bookmark. So either you can press like some sort of a screen, usually it's the top over here, and then there is a bookmark that's added. Or when you go home, then there also is a bookmark. This way now, if I go back into the text, my page was just saved. So those are some nice things about the e-readers. Now we're just gonna head into the Kindle itself. I'm gonna show you a tiny bit about that part because that's a good amount of the e-readers. All have the same sort of technology in it. They don't look exactly the same, but all of them have this sort of technology in it. So let's hop right into the Kindle over here. So with the Kindle, it has a 6-inch e-ink touchscreen. I explained what e-ink was, but it has a touchscreen on it. Unless you're buying like a tablet e-reader, then you're not gonna get the e-ink. But if you're buying just an e-reader to get the an e-ink screen, some can be 6. I've seen some that are 8 plus waterproof. I've always wanted them, but they're expensive. On the back of it, at least on the Kindle, you get like on most of them you get the branding on all this FCC warning and all that stuff. And then on the Kindle you get 2 prongs to be able to power a light with it, to be able to have a backlight. And then on the bottom of most, an indicator light and a micro USB charger port. And on the Kindles there is a power button, but on most of them they're on the side. Other than that, there really isn't much more to talk about. If you did like this video, please rate, comment, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.